From a warm, humid suburban St. Louis, it is time for Lamar Hunt Cup Soccer. And tell you what, Bill McDermott, Bob Ramsey, as we're ready for a really good one. Last year was a dramatic run for St. Louis. In fact, these two teams, St. Louis and Minnesota, met right here at this time last year, Bill.
And just about at the exact time of the year. Exactly right, Bob. And the real prize for the winner of this game, no matter who it is, Minnesota or St. Louis, Kansas City, the MLS team, Sporting Kansas City, goes to that particular venue. So both these clubs want to win this game, obviously to continue a streak for themselves, but to see how they measure up against a very difficult opponent in Sporting Kansas City.
It happened for St. Louis last year. They won this game in a shootout. They played in Sporting Kansas City. It was a marvelous event. It was a fantastic opportunity. And now the opportunity, moreover, not just to show that you can play against and compete with the big boys of the MLS, but the fact that you will have them at your place. These will be the lineups as we take a look at them tonight.
The guy we want to really focus on, Bob, is Christian Ramirez. He's the guy who plays up top for Minnesota. Last year, he was very troublesome to deal with throughout the entire 90 minutes. Really got behind the defense. Stefano Pino, the guy who plays right behind him. Eric Pitchkolin, a seasoned veteran. He's one of the holding midfielders. And Sammy Njak, the goalkeeper, played in the 2014, well, at least was in this selection for Cameroon in the 2014 World Cup. Now, for the home side, St. Louis FC, they're going to have pretty much the same first 11 that they have had in past games. In particular, the back six, along with the goalkeeper, Mark Pace. Drew Connery gets the start underneath Irvin Herrera. Jameel Hardware, normally where Connery is, goes to the right flank, and Brandon Bartlett out on that left flank. So both teams with that 4-2-3-1 formation.
One of the things I see on the right flank, when you look at the blazing speed of Hardware and Dixon on that right side, especially with that back overlapping up the sideline, I have an idea they could present a lot of problems for Minnesota United tonight.
I think so, Bob. They've been combining very nicely, the two Jamaicans, so far early in the year here. And exactly what you were talking about. Dixon gets out of the back. He overlaps. Hardware rewards him for his running. And Jameel Hardware, as of late, has literally been all over the field.
Now, when you look at the goalies, of course, we all know Mark Pace and how well he has played. He is a real stalwart in the back. But Njak, what does he provide as he comes into this match?
Strong, solid keeper, very good decisions, good at his line, marshals the defense nicely, better with his distribution than I've seen from a lot of Cameroonian goalkeepers. And believe me, I've seen some in particular in the World Cup. Jacques Sango back in the World Cup in 1994 when Oleg Salenko from Russia got 5 against him. It's the only time in the history of the World Cup that somebody scored 5 goals. So Oleg Salenko got 5 against Jacques Sango, that Cameroonian goalkeeper.
Hopefully this Jock is not like that one.
I think he's far superior, yes.
And, of course, Irvin Herrera has been marvelous for St. Louis. 6 goals, and he's your target man, and he's also the target of every opposing defense.
And everybody knows, especially the opposing defenses, as you just point out, where the ball's going to go when St. Louis FC is trying to come out of the backfield. They're going to be looking for number 19, Irvin Herrera. He has 6 goals so far, young part of the season, and this is exactly why he was brought to St. Louis FC, to score goals. You saw the last game, the last home game here at this venue, immediately changed the game as soon as he came on at halftime. St. Louis FC was having a difficult time getting the ball to the backfield. Herrera comes in, he makes it easy to play, and he's a constant threat on offense.
Talk about the differences in the leagues and why this is such an interesting challenge.
Very valid point, Bob, because they are dramatically different leagues. NASL, much more experienced players, older players, a lot of players in their early to mid-30s, quite a bit more internationals. As a matter for the Tampa Bay Rowdies last week, the player of the week was Joe Cole, former English international. And they are the type of players that once they dictate the flow of pace, once they dictate the game, it can be a real long evening for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, anybody who knows St. Louis knows that the weather rolls through. In fact, anybody that's been watching the last year or so knows it's different, except, it's probably going to be wet. and we had some rain, about an hour ago right here at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. It is cleared out for now. There are clouds on the horizon moving in. Who knows? Hit and miss. That's the way it is in St. Louis, but very, very humid. Hard by the banks of the Merrimack River.
Very humid, as it is usually around this time of the year. Some of the players during training, Chad Bond, for instance, who's from Wales, played in Tulsa last year. About 4 or 5 weeks ago on a particular Tuesday morning, it was a rare 85 degrees at 10 a.m. And he says, "Are you kidding me? What's going on here?" I said, "Chad, this is unusual for this time of year. But, pal, just wait till July and August."
In Wales, they brew their coffee at 85 degrees. What? This is the temperature?
So then I say to the Jamaican players, "Oh, this is a little more like it." "What, are you crazy?" they all say. "There's no humidity in Jamaica. The breeze is coming in. We're sipping our pina coladas, walking in the sand, but no humidity."
The Merrimack River is not quite the Caribbean.
No, and the sand is not white down on the banks of the Merrimack.
No, it is not. It is not white. So these teams come in. St. Louis, of course, 5-3-4. Minnesota United FC 4-1-3. The records don't mean as much in a Lamar Hunt Cup game.
Precisely, Bob. Anybody plays anybody. There will be quite a few games tonight featuring NASL teams against USL teams. But as we mentioned when we first came in the air, the big prize for the winner of this is to play an MLS team, Sporting Kansas City, coached by Peter Vermees, who over the years have been very good, not just in MLS competition, but in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. They won the particular Open Cup last year.
Let's take a look at some of the home games coming up for St. Louis. When you see Tulsa, that's a 7:30 game here at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. Then on the road, then back home on the 25th. Now, what's not here is the what-if game. If St. Louis were to win, be right back here on the
Wednesday, the 15th of June. Again, sandwiched in between other games. And then coming up in July to start off the month, another MLS-related team, the Seattle Sounders, come in. And then on July 9th, FC Cincinnati, with their head coach, former national team captain, John Harkes. That team up at Nippert Stadium has been drawing 20,000, 19,000. They've really, as an expansion team, have caught everyone in the league by surprise.
Everybody, anybody that's been to a St. Louis FC game knows what a great game presentation it is. Tons of fun. Normally packed. It'll be a light crowd tonight. The Open Cup games tend to be a little more sparsely attended, not on the schedule. It kind of pops up on people, and so don't be alarmed. That is not the norm. Normally, we're at sellout or close to sellout, and my prediction is, if Sporting Kansas City comes in here on the 15th, you'll have to shoehorn them in.
Everybody wants to see that possibly happen. In particular, the head coach, Dale Shilley, his entire staff, and the players as well, Bob, because as I mentioned, they get a chance to judge and gauge where they are as soccer players, again, against a very difficult MLS opponent.
So when you look at these two teams, you mentioned the experience level is one key. You have a guy like Brandon Barklage out there that can maybe provide, be a core guy, a guy who's seen it all, played against this kind of competition, a veteran who matches the veterans of Minnesota.
Oh, I think without any question, Brandon has a good feel for this league already, certainly has a feel for the league, not just at NASL level. He knows it's more experience there, but in particular at the MLS level. We always reference the MLS level because that's where a goodly number of these players are attempting to go. He played with DC United. He played with the Red Bulls, and when he played at the Red Bulls for about 2 or 3 years, he was the right back, and he really changed his career around because throughout his entire intercollegiate career and early in his MLS career, he was either a wide midfielder or holding midfielder in the center part of the field, but he became a right back for the New York Red Bulls and did very well in that particular position.
So aside from experience, is it physical strength of guys that late 20s, more in their physical peak than you might see with a youthful bunch like St. Louis, or is that too much of an overstatement?
Well, I think, Bob, as we talked about just a moment ago, the game in NASL, the game just looks different because of the style of players that you have who have been through it more internationals. But St. Louis FC wants to try to combat that by partially doing their normal work rate, by being that proverbial, as Dale Schilly tells me, the gnat that just won't go away.
Right.
We want to irritate them because we do not want to do the chasing ourselves. It'll be a very long evening if Minnesota United FC controls the pace of the soccer game.
They're the kind of team that can possess the ball and really control tempo.
Without any question, and that's how they go about playing the full 90 minutes.
So as the teams come out onto the pitch here at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park in suburban St. Louis, breeze is picking up lightly, so it should be a humid but somewhat pleasant night as we get ready for our national anthem. We'll take a break on the Big 550 KTRS, then be back for our Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup match between St. Louis and Minnesota. Don't go away. Now a lovely breeze has picked up through Worldwide Technology Soccer Park as our two teams, Minnesota and St. Louis, are set to face off this round of the Lamar Hunt Open Cup. The winner gets to play host to Sporting Kansas City. It should be a good one tonight. The officials go through the last-minute instructions with their captains, Aaron Pitchcolin, and you see Dale Schilly, St. Louis coach, his last-minute instructions to his squad.
Talking it over with the players, and he told me they had a good week of training, very difficult, as always, highly competitive. The team is hard-working, Training has really been lively. It's fun, as along with the highly intense competition at training, but every player contributes to the overall atmosphere. It's a totally different culture this year. They enjoy each other's company. And last year at this time, Bob, if you remember, going into the Open Cup competition, there were quite a few injuries to St. Louis FC. We weren't that deep with our players. Consequently, we hurt ourselves, and it made for a long, long summer. And what they're looking for now is how do we continue to focus? We win games early, but how do we keep those players, numbers 12 through 18, who are not in the first 11, how do we keep them sharp, maintain their fitness while still getting ready to play in games? So that's one of the keys that Dale Schilly says I'm still laboring with to get that done 100% accurately all the time.
St. Louis in their navy blue kits, trimmed in with red piping on their shorts, bright gold numerals on their shirts. Mark Pace in lime green. He'll march his way to his customary goal crease for Minnesota United. Their baby blue road uniforms trimmed in black. And Sammy Enjak all in orange tonight. in goal for Minnesota. Hey, Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1983, family owned and operated. Order online today at WKF.com, one of the proud sponsors here for St. Louis FC.
And Minnesota comes into this competition, Bob, as you talked about. They're tied for third place in the NASL. New York Cosmos in first place. Indy 11 tied for second place, but FC Edmonton, Minnesota's tied with Carolina for third place. In that Western Conference, a very difficult USL Western Conference, St. Louis FC and Rio Grande Valley still tied for fourth place. Each team with 16 points, and Vancouver continues to lead with 22 points.
St. Louligans are out in good force. What do they live here?
Just about.
Thank goodness.
Just about. In that exact corner, as a matter of fact.
Boy, just the backbone of the fan base, really fantastic. We're underway. St. Louis moving right to left. And up the left side, Parker Marr for Barklage. Tough play. His back foot slipped a little bit, but he gets it back to Marr, who will play it for Cochran to the right side for Sam Fink. Sam back with Cochran. Long drive looking for Herrera. A little too ambitious. First little probe. Musa breaks it down, and they get it to Connor, but that's taken away from him, and now Dixon back for it. Dixon up the right side with Hardware. Jamil, nifty move. Slide tackle takes it away. Picked up by Pino. They swing it left. J.C. Banks. Banks back through the middle for Pino. Couldn't control. St. Louis pops it away and swings it to the left side where Barklage will move forward. Surveys the scene, comes left for Marr. Parker gets it forward for Herrera, who came back. We saw a lot of that. He's willing to come back and make plays.
Very much so, Bob. He'll come back, find the game, make himself available. He does not just stand in the penalty area.
Dixon gained yardage on that right side.
And that whole play made possible, that change of play made possible by Irvin Herrera showing, make it easier for the team to play, so they get it from left back to right back in 2 or 3 changes.
Chad Bond couldn't hold it in. Now Minnesota brings it out. Davis sends it back for Calvano. Back through the middle, recovered nicely. Oh, it was a good idea. They were going to first touch that one on for Pino, but it was broken up.
Good work by the center back. A.J. Cochran a little bit farther advanced than Sam Fink in that particular defensive lineup. Kept that play out nicely.
Interesting, Mark Pace his ball at his feet, but did not like what he saw in front of him. And
quickly got it out of the backfield.
Very wary. Again, Minnesota. Blake. And St. Louis will get it back.
Jack Blake, he wears number 14. He's inserted into the first 11 in the absence of the normal holder, number 3, Jabrowski. Injured in their last NASL game.
All the way to the back, Damian Lowe. Lowe swing it back for Calvano. Davis sends it forward. Or rather, Blake through the middle, headed away, trying to run onto that.
And just
Mendez.
when Minnesota was starting to see more of the ball there, Bob, you saw that Irvin Herrera made the center back play.
Yep.
Made him a bit uncomfortable. Consequently, Minnesota loses the possession. Make those center backs play.
Marr and Cochran. And over to the right side, Chad Bond comes back to get it. Moved that forward nicely. Boy, took him man on man and took that away from Hardware. Now the counterattack.
J.C. Banks out there in the left flank, a very pacey player, quick for Minnesota out on the flank.
Venegas gets it back. Tries the middle again. Cochran is there. Nice play for Barklage. Now Parker Marr. Back for A.J. Cochran. Tells everybody to calm down.
Calm down. Both teams playing nicely out of tight situations. Minnesota trying to get a triangular formation, get the odd even 3 against 2, 3 against 1 with early balls on the ground.
Lamar tried a long pass, tried to get it to Drew Connor, but that was broken up, and then ping-pongs through into the area. Dangerous ball, but Mark Pace comes out to make a play.
Good alert goalkeeping by Pace. Good thing the ball bounced in the penalty area this particular time. Minnesota doing the attacking, comes in off the right flank. Momentarily cleared. Good work by A.J. Cochran. Chad Bond brings it down nicely. But Minnesota will continue to get forward. They will look for number 21, Christian Ramirez. He's their lone forward. And for St. Louis, their lone forwards, Irvin Herrera. As you pointed out, Bob, 6 goals, 1 assist so far for St. Louis FC.
Stefano Pino had just made a nice run that made St. Louis come back on their heels a bit, but they recover nicely, and Fink gets it out for Dixon.
Pino playing that central midfielder in the 4-2-3-1 formation. J.C. Banks and Daniel Mendez wide on the flanks for the 3 midfielders.
Long angled ball there. Brandon Barklage tried to run under that like a center fielder, but too far, and he couldn't make the play. He tried to run to a spot, but it wasn't the right spot. Minnesota, they'll send it back to their keeper, Njok. NDJ-O-C-K, Njok, Sammy. Rolls it out. On the attack again, Cochran's there to head it away for Barklage in the air. Push in the back. They get it forward. Oh, nifty play for Mendez. Mendez had it taken away by Musa, stepped through, recovered nicely. Banks, direct on the ground, looking to turn, but Pino, when he turned, he met 3 St. Louis players.
Received turn, Richard Dixon immediately on the clearance.
Now Calvano swings it left. Banks drives one through again, or Banks is there rather, tried to tip it into the middle, and it goes over the end line.
Good defending by St. Louis FC. J.C. Banks receives, cuts it with the outside of his right, looking to work the 1-2. Does just that. But coming out of the backfield, the 2 center backs, Fink, Cochran, and with the clearance, the right back, Richard Dixon.
Pace drills it to midfield. After a couple of bounces, Barklage looks for Jameel Hardware on the right side. Hardware with Connor. Now Dixon stepped through nicely. Pass poked away. Now they have Hardware running into the area on the right side. Oh, a nice header away by Davis to stop the run. They lose it out of control. Boy, Davis saved the day, didn't he?
Good work by number 2, Justin Davis, the longest tenured player for Minnesota United. He went to the left back position as a rookie in 2011, and that's where he's been. Played his intercollegiate soccer at University of New Mexico. Good job at defending against number 7, Jameel Hardware there.
New Mexico, one of the great programs. Into the area, looking for Herrera. Barklage whiffed on it, but was able to get it back. But in a double team, it's finally booted away. Barklage would love to have that one back.
Tried to hit it first time, bounced just as he was getting ready to strike it.
Now Fink sends it forward, wants to get it back to Barklage, couldn't. Volleyed back across the middle. Cochran again. Drives that, looking for Herrera to run under it. He gives chase. Battling back there is Damian Lowe, a push, and we'll come back the other way. Hey, Bill, St. Louis-based Worldwide Technology is recognized as one of the 100 best places to work 5 years in a row. Worldwide Technology understands it with the right culture and teamwork. Great things happen.
Now we talked about this in the first game against Cleveland in the Open Cup competition. This is the 2016 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. The 103rd edition. It's the oldest ongoing national soccer competition in the United States.
It's interesting. They couldn't get that one to Christian Ramirez, but he had gotten behind the defense. They'll look for Ramirez again, but now have to play it back. Send it all the way back to Damian Lowe. Lowe with Blake.
Yeah, all the way across the backfield, from the left back to the center backs to the holder. Puts that on to get forward. That holder will come towards the center backs, make it easier for them to play out of the backfield.
They tried to send one in for Mendez. or Medes. That's knocked away. Barklage for St. Louis. Weaves through traffic, got into a bit of a danger zone there. Gets it to Chad Bond. Tried to connect with Jameel Hardware, but far too ambitious.
Chad just outside that center circle, trying to play the ball long over the top of the defense, looking for the run of the right flank. Jameel Hardware inserted into the first 11 tonight is Hardware. Normally, he's been in the first 11 last 2 or 3 games as that central midfielder behind the top front runner.
Oh, nice ball through the middle. Guys are trying. Let's see what happens in a game with 2 live balls.
This is not a training exercise, but you can only use 1 ball.
Minnesota controlling a little more of the pace now. Through the midfield, again wanted Ramirez. Again, Cochran is there. Took a hit to give it up. Nice first touch. Musa gets it ahead to Herrera. Herrera had a double team, knocked off a defender. St. Louis will get the throw in.
Herrera came back just far enough to help them play out of the backfield.
Now Herrera with 1 man back, took a shot, had to go for it, and out of play.
From the left side towards the penalty area, just outside the penalty area, on 1 bounce, Erwin Herrera tries to put this in the opposite side netting. Now you may say, that's a little too optimistic. Perhaps it is. But on a 1 bounce throw-in, shoots this to the opposite side netting. Sammy Njok, nobody in the world is expecting the forward to shoot from there.
Great topspin on it.
Give it a go.
Parker Marr comes back to break it up. James Musa drops it back for Richard Dixon. Bit of an unforced error there. Saw a lot of water splash up there from that thunderstorm we had a little before the game began.
Minnesota comes in, Bob, on a rare 2-game losing streak. They lost the 21st of May to the Indy 11, then last Saturday to Tampa Bay.
That's Blake. Back through the middle. Oh, gambled and lost. Moving forward, Pino. Double team. Look at Barklage come all the way back to make a play. To help out Parker Marr.
Pino turned, beat Parker Marr. Brandon Barklage came back to help out defensively.
Well, I got Minnesota really hems in the defense.
Get everybody up as quickly as possible, condense the field, and get it back into the offensive third as quickly as possible.
They were giving no lanes to clear the ball.
Collapse, get the ball back, and get it forward on offense.
Oh, now on top they had a man. He was taken down hard. Ramirez got clipped on the ankle, I think. But that was another dangerous opportunity.
And St. Louis FC at this particular juncture of the game, early, just in the 13th minute, having a tough time getting the ball in their own backfield. Minnesota again doing the attacking, looking up, trying to tackle right away, get forward right away. Doing the tackling is A.J. Cochran. Team has been dramatically transformed with the addition of the former MLS player from Houston. Number 4, A.J. Cochran. Gives James Musa, who wears number 14, puts him in a holding midfield spot, Bob, where he's much more actively involved in the overall game.
Cochran, left foot. Nicely done. Hardware runs it down near the right corner. Turns at the side of the penalty area. Gets it back for Dixon. Couldn't control. Yes, he keeps it in. Dixon has to curl back. Boy, what a ball. Sent all the way across for Hardware.
The big ball from the center back, the left-footed center back to the right flank player. It's always on if you can get it there. 50 to 60 yards driven in the air.
Chad Bond sends it over. Hardware. Dixon, Hardware, tried a little two-man game. Try to curl it out for the middle. Thought that Bond was going to run onto it. He didn't. It was broken up. Chad comes back, recovers, finds Herrera. Left-footed shot. Oh, it had a little spin on it. And the angled shot stopped by Njok.
Good sure hands by Sammy Enjok, number 33, their goalkeeper. St. Louis FC gets the ball forward just outside the penalty area. Doing the tackling is Musa. He's down on the field because of that particular tackle. The play continues. It's on the ground. Herrera receives, turns, shoot. And Enjok perfectly positioned.
Little bit of a bender, a little more dangerous. So Musa's down.
James Musa has been playing just about 90 minutes of every game. Never comes off the field. His parents come in town from England. They come to watch him. Now he's down. Minnesota doing the attacking, getting forward, at least trying to get it forward out of their own backfield. Number 5, Calvano, collides with Musa, the end result. Nicely struck by number 19, Irvin Herrera.
Went
but
right
the goalkeeper, Sammy Enjok had it covered.
Hey, make sure to tune in every Friday night to the Big 550 KTRS FC Soccer Weekly, 7 to 9. Stay up to date on all things soccer. KTRS FC Soccer Weekly every Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. And he's up gingerly.
James Musa in that tackle with number 5, Thiago Calvano. Again, one of their older players, Bob. We talked about this at the very outset. Calvano is 35. He's from Rio. Joined the team in 2014. And so many teams, so many players on this particular team from Brazil began their careers with Botafogo. Statistically so far, St. Louis FC, 2 shots, and that's about all we got right now.
2 long distance shots from Herrera are really it. Of the as we're in the 16th minute, first 15 minutes of the match, probably a little more than half, 60% of it controlled by Minnesota, but they haven't been able to get any real good scoring opportunities. Almost looked like a handball there for Cochran. Hits it out, Mar curls back. Parker under duress. Tried to get it through the middle. And St. Louis will get that one.
Yeah, the late call. Venegas did the fouling against Parker Mar, who made the turn, played out of his own backfield, kept the ball nicely, did Mar. Wins the foul in the process.
Pace plays it out for Cochran. Here comes AJ. They're going to put some pressure on him, so he'll send it to the right side for his steady partner in the back, Sam Fink. Cochran up the left side for Mar. One touch. Oh, a nice flick on by Barklage. Mar sends it back through the middle. They try to control it. It bounced just away from Musa, so James looks okay now. Musa back for Cochran.
Good work by Musa to dig that ball out. Keep it. Seems to be okay. Minnesota back in their positions, Bob, as you pointed out just a moment ago. Perfectly spaced. They get their shape back nicely.
Hardware tried to, or Dixon tried to send it to Hardware. Couldn't. Cochran goes all the way back, plays it to Fink.
Again, a little bit too direct from Minnesota coming out of their own backfield. Looking this time for number 11, Stefano Pino.
Musa and Barklage. Well, a little flick from Barklage before. He's always got something in his bag of tricks. You'll see him do something different every game.
And the players on the flank, along with the wide backs, have been working continually trained to get a nice understanding so that the wide midfielder makes it easy for the wide back to play. If the wide back's going to overlap, the wide midfielder covers. The wide midfielder shouldn't get too terribly far away from the back so the back can't play. It's the constant ongoing process of those wide players working together.
Nice job of possessing the ball. St. Louis can't penetrate. The nice defensive stature, if you will, from Minnesota, but aren't giving the ball away either.
They are not giving the ball away. They keep their shape nicely. They don't allow you to play through the lanes on the ground, those 30 to 40 yarders on the ground that Cochran and Fink really have a lot of prowess with. Those hard balls on the ground pinged at the forward's feet.
There was a header trying to get Herrera to run on and just clipped by Damian Lowe to prevent it.
Good work by number 31, Damian Lowe, a Jamaican. One of the younger players, he's just 23. He had his back to play. He knew Herrera was there, waiting for a ball on the ground, just nodded it back to his goalkeeper, Njok.
Sammy drills it. Dixon, header back through the middle. Damian Lowe again. Hardware is there, and he has Herrera to run on, but one bounce too far ahead.
That is exactly right, Bob Ramsey. The bounce made it easy for the goalkeeper to play. If the ball's on the ground, here it is, Hardware from the right flank, early on the ground. It skips on the bounce and gets to the goalkeeper. If that ball's played on the ground so that either Herrera can receive and turn, or preferably he can run with it at pace, getting to the goalkeeper with the ball on the ground at his feet, then you're in business.
Opportunity broken up. St. Louis brings it back quickly. Drew Connor. Musa switches fields, brings it left for Barklage. Brandon surveys to the middle. Barklage gives it up. Musa swings it left. Marr is there. Parker out top. Lobs one through, tried to spin one over the top, couldn't quite get it there. It's a battle for it. St. Louis loses the ball there as they rough up the midfielder.
Drew Connor, who in that central midfield spot gives you a little more defensively, comes back, helps out doing the tackling. Parker Marr tries to clip this over the top, looking for the run of Irvin Herrera, coming out of the backfield, and then eventually helping on defense, but following J.C. Banks is number 18, Drew Connor.
Now Cochran with a nice steal along the sideline, and St. Louis regains possession. Up top, Herrera. Musa's held. They play on. Top. Jameel Hardware turns, slips, finds his man. Dixon, a blast knocked away by the defense.
Good work to get forward nonetheless by this man, number 2, Richard Dixon, and the entire right side of the offense for St. Louis FC. Good work on the turn, as always, from Musa, battling, keeping the ball, finding people on the ground at their feet. A slight slip by Hardware nonetheless keeps the ball into the penalty area. Richard Dixon gets a shot, eventually deflected out of play by number 4, Aaron Pichkolin, first corner.
Now out of the corner, out top, headed in the air by a defender. Barklage looks to run it down. Is he going to let it fly? Curls one through, backside, header attempt just wide.
Well, it's always going to be on for a flighted ball so that number 19, Irvin Herrera, can get on the end of it. Sam Fink in the central part of the defense there. He's still up from the corner kick. So Brandon Barklage, he figures, let's just clip it into the penalty area. Maybe someone could run onto it.
Must have went off a defender.
Yeah, good defending nonetheless by number 5, Diego Calvano.
Herrera gave it a go, now curled to the far post and well sighted. Sammy Njok played that very nicely in traffic.
Immediately off his goal line, good goalkeeping by the Cameroonian, good sure hands.
Some good long possessions by St. Louis in the last 10 minutes or so.
Again, Bob, the old philosophy, the cradle of the team, anybody, anywhere has to play this way. Who are the most dangerous players? Who's the most important person? It's the person without the ball. Make yourself available for your teammates to play easier coming out of your own backfield.
Hey, G&W Meat and Bavarian Style Sausage Company is proud to be the official brought. There's a quick shot that goes wide. Well, they didn't try to set much up there, did they?
J.C. Banks on that left flank, continuing the ball, keep it running. Pino likewise getting involved in the attacking.
Almost as if Minnesota's getting a little frustrated.
They got long memories. Anybody from the NASL, they remember last year, St. Louis FC eventually winning 3-1 on penalty kicks. Brandon Barklage in the first 11 tonight. Patrick Duty, the lone player from the Chicago Fire, and the now departed Oscar Gasecki. Here were the eventual winners with the penalty kick formation. They all struck it successfully.
Drew Connor got in a chokehold and was able to draw enough attention to give St. Louis the ball across midfield.
Drew Connor, again, speaking of lone players, played at the University of Wisconsin. He's a Chicago Fire homegrown player. Number 18, Drew Connor.
Chad Bond will approach just outside the center circle. Sends his teammates into the area. Sends one to the left side, looking for Cochran just over his head, and they'll clear it. but not under control. Parker Marr swings it back to Barklage and back out top. Chad Bond at the center line. He's there with Dixon. Richard waits. On the ground, finds Connor. Looks for Hardware to run on. Can he get there in time? Curls it back to the middle. Side volley over the crossbar. Oh, what a play by Jameel Hardware. And Herrera just missed his 7th goal. Oh, Doctor, just over the crossbar.
St. Louis FC works on this particular formation all day long. Connor shows, waits for the overlapper. It's in behind everybody. As deep as he is, Richard Dixon, he knocks it back that deep so that Urban Herrera could strike it first time. Excellent work. Play the person who has made the run. Reward them for their running. That's what St. Louis FC did. Wonderful ball on the ground from Drew Connor. Richard Dixon making himself available coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, Drew Connor, that was a pretty ball to get it going.
He came forward to show, to make it easier for his teammate to play.
Oh, Herrera just missed one, and he knows it. Another foot, probably less. Into the 26th minute, no score. St. Louis has clearly had the best opportunities.
Without any question, Bob, the ball's been in and around the penalty area on a regular basis, and some excellent opportunities.
Yeah, take a look at that.
Yeah, Urban Herrera just a moment ago. Here's the ball from Drew Connor through 3 defenders on the ground on an angle so that Dixon can run on to it. He lays it off to Urban Herrera, who hits it first time just high.
Great run, never giving up on that ball. Plucked it off the end line.
Offensive midfielder shows, makes himself available. The wide back's done the running. Reward him for his running. Knock it back on the angle to your most dangerous forward.
Tough collision. 2 legs go together between Lowe and Herrera. They both went down. Take a look and we'll see if we can figure out exactly who hit what.
Drew Connor again on the ball.
Yep. Oh, that was
Tries
clever.
to float it in over the top of the defense, in particular over number 31, Damian Lowe. Doing the tackling is number 19, Urban Herrera. And then on the follow-through at the end of play, I think that Herrera got clipped by number 31, Damian Lowe. Certainly
maybe
not intentionally. Seems to be okay. Does number 19, Herrera.
Yep, just 2 guys playing hard.
Drew Connor doing a nice job in that central midfield role, making himself available, finding people quickly. As quickly as you get it, try to send people through like Urban Herrera. Ooh, there's the end of that play as number 31, Damian Lowe. Hits number 19, Urban Herrera. From behind, just on his backside, and whoo, that will make you late for the dance.
Sammy Njok. Nifty through a lot of traffic. They send it back for Lowe with Calvano.
Yeah, nice work there again by Blake. Cleaning things up in the central part of the field, in and around that center circle.
Pitch Colin. A little more patient this time. Low to the right side. Venegas. He is surrounded by St. Louis players. A little shirt held and a whistle. Good call.
Good tackling by Parker Marr, not allowing number 22, Kevin Venegas, to get forward. Good defending by Parker Marr. Minnesota had a chance to clip this ball away from the last defender. They get it off the right foot of Brandon Barklage. Then they try to get forward again. But Parker Marr, he does the tackling, and then Venegas does the shirt pulling at the end.
Minnesota recovers. See some bright sunshine coming out now off on the western horizon. Across the field with shadows. Marr's going to let it go all the way back to Mark Pace.
Blake made himself available there. Just a little bit too direct that particular time. He was looking for number 18, the right flank player, Daniel Mendez.
Musa comes all the way back and then sends it forward. Dixon under duress through the middle. Oh, nice play by Chad Bond. Very courageous. He got drilled, but he made the play.
That's why he played the ball first time. He knew if he handled it, he would have got drilled worse. But he knew he was going to get clipped at the very end of this. That's why he played it early. Ball played directly sideways. Those are always troublesome. A sideways pass. And number 14, Jack Blake, commits the foul against Bond.
St. Louis tried to go forward again. Dixon coming up and overlapping, but he taps his chest. My bad. He couldn't get to that ball. Felt like he should have.
Yeah. Unforced error coming out of the backfield by St. Louis FC. But again, Bob, you see how far advanced the right back, Richard Dixon, is, along with number 6, Parker Moore. Likewise with Minnesota United, Kevin Venegas, he wears 22. Justin Davis wears number 2.
There was an unforced error.
Both teams uncustomarily
Boink.
trading giveaways.
In the 30th minute, no score here in St. Louis. Dixon and Hardware. Drew Connor.
Yeah.
Couldn't control.
That first touch wasn't clean on the far flank, and against a talented team like Minnesota, you're going to pay the price for that.
To the sideline, Venegas. Back with Damian Lowe. He'll swing it to Calvano. Directly through the middle. Calvano sends it, and then they are looking for Mendez. Couldn't connect, really. Musa comes back to take it away. 50-50 ball until that man comes through. Nice play by Hardware. Then Barklage clears it ahead. He wanted Herrera marked very tightly by Lowe.
Good work by Jameel Harbor to come back, help out defensively.
Up the left side. Davis came back through the middle. Now he's there with Mendez. Oh, stepping up in front was Fink. Big, tough defensive play.
Good work by the center back. Cut it out, play it early.
Now Hardware. St. Louis has some space, has some runners. Slide tackle. Did he have the ball? They play on. Dixon overlapping, got drilled.
Again, good running out of the backfield by number 2, Richard Dixon.
First touching back through the middle. Now looking for a long run by Venegas. Venegas, one-on-one. Boy, stood up. Now he's going to try the outside. Curled back through, header attempt. Oh, just wide and over the crossbar.
Good work on that right flank by Kevin Venegas. Looking for Pino just at the tip of the penalty area arc, just getting into the penalty area itself. Here's Venegas out on that right flank. Immediately tried to take that last defender on. Parker Morrow got himself pressed, then curls over the top of the defense, looking for number 11, Pino, over the top of the crossbar. Good work by that right back, Venegas, to get forward.
Hey, G&W Meat and Bavarian Style Sausage Company is proud to be the official brat of St. Louis FC. Celebrating over 50 years as a family-owned St. Louis tradition, you can't beat G&W Meat. Barklage saved the day. Parker Marr back with Cochran, with Musa. Swings it right, Fink to midfield. Drew Connor. Little first touch, tried to go for Herrera, couldn't connect.
Actually, Bob, that was Herrera who came back that deep at right midfield.
That's right.
To make the play easier, get it out of the backfield. I'm going to join, I'm going to help. I want to find the game a bit. And then Drew Connor flip-flop with him. He was pushed forward.
They'll try the left side, Davis. He got it back. Oh, nice little back heel. Sent into the area. One man back, Marr. Played that ball and angled beautifully on that lofted pass. Now Parker, some space. Oh, he thought he had Herrera stolen away. Here comes Venegas again. Barklage says, not today. He's pulled down.
And
good play by Brandon.
Good work by Brandon Barklage to get his body in between the player and the ball. Wins the foul in the process. He comes all the way back to help out defensively. Running fast out of the backfield. Number 22, Kevin Venegas. Trying to hold the last player off Venegas was Brandon Barklage. Referee Greg Dopka instead of Venegas fouled in the process.
Cochran drives it, headed into the air. Mendez had it for a moment. Bond sends it forward, then back to the middle. Fink is there. He couldn't get it past the last man because Herrera was getting an angle. Now back through the middle. Here comes Minnesota. Now they'll send it back and reload.
Yeah, nice job by Christian Ramirez there. Their top front runner to withdraw, get back. He went to find a game a bit himself. Made it easier for Minnesota to play out of their backfield.
Long pass from Blow was broken up by Parker Marr. Sends it back to Fink. Now has Bond. Right side with Dixon. Bond waits. He'll come back left. Cochran.
And when in doubt, give it to your holder. Let him go find the play. He'll get it out of the backfield.
Musa hemmed in. Back to Marr. Put a little pressure on Parker. He's curled back, nowhere to go. They cut off the passing angles very nicely. Oh, a beautiful back heel in midair. Barklage got a man open, and it's Herrera. Herrera drives one left side, sees a man on that weak side, but couldn't quite get it to Drew Connor.
Drew Connor doing the running, trying to get away from that last defender. Nicely flatted ball from Irvin Herrera. But watch this little flick from number 25, Brandon Barklage. The Brazilians with their flicks and touches. As Martin Tyler used to say when he saw Brazil play in the World Cup on a regular basis. Their flicks and touches.
And now, on a run, sent through and high and wide.
Well, Christian Ramirez, who gets forward, he's that lone front runner for Minnesota United. He tried a shot of his own from a difficult position, trying to get it into the opposite side netting, withdrawing from the penalty area, making himself available.
St. Louis-based Worldwide Technology, proud supporter of soccer in St. Louis. Worldwide Technology understands that with the right culture and teamwork, great things happen.
Getting into the 36th minute, and what St. Louis did not want to happen hasn't happened so far. In very slight instances during the game, Minnesota is not controlling the pace. They are not forcing the home side to run and chase all evening long, because as Dale Schilly told me, when that happens, when they dictate the offense, it's going to be a long evening for the home side.
Cochran out of the back for St. Louis with Fink. Fink drives one, looking for, that was for Dixon. Couldn't quite control it with Connor, and they'll bring it back out. Connor looks to hem his man in and forces an errant pass to St. Louis, getting it back.
Well, occasionally the holder, Chad Bond, will come back deep. He goes to find the game itself. Sam Fink will go a little wide. Bond makes it easier for everybody to play it. He's a very good striker of the ball. He can get that ball over the top of the defense, looking for the overlapping right back.
Herrera had it for a moment, got caught in a two-man trap. Cleared back across midfield. Fink and Cochran go back. Sam is there. Sam, Chad Bond. Bond and Connor. Connor's pushed from behind, and he has to get it back rather than lose it.
That's the kind of work Connor has to do. That central midfielder, he has to go find the game as well. Run from sideline to sideline.
Back through the middle. Little confusion for St. Louis. Broken up, and they want to run with Ramirez. A long run, and that's broken up as Sam Fink was able to sort of hedge him out of there.
Good defending in the open field by Sam Fink. Do not allow number 21 Christian Ramirez to receive, turn, and run at you one-on-one.
So they'll get the corner kick, and Venegas will go into the right corner to do the honors. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1983. Family owned and operated. Order online today at WKF.com. I said corner kick, excuse me, throw in out of the right corner. Little give and go. Venegas curls, toe pokes it out, curled back up top, trying to clear. Bond was there, gets it to Connor. Pushes the man out but can't control the ball. Minnesota, their best position yet. Little give and go, tough angle, shot, not a play.
That's good work by their top front runner, Christian Ramirez. First to make himself available. They play off him on the wall pass. He curls over to the top of the defense, but nicely done by number 21, Christian Ramirez. The key is the ball to him on the ground, allows the quick 1-2, comes across the goal mouth, just over the top of everyone. Looking for the runner on the far side. Nicely worked, nicely done by Christian Ramirez.
At the other end, Herrera has been involved in a heavyweight bout. He took a forearm shiver and then got drilled again, battling there with Lowe. He took a shot. This is the second shot, I believe. Let's see. As he came up. Yeah, that's the second tackle there from behind. Horse collar.
Good work by Christian Ramirez at the other top of the field. Now the other forward, Irvin Herrera. You know you're going to take a beating up there when you're the lone forward. He digs the ball out at the left wing corner flag, keeps it, uses his body, and wins a foul in a dangerous position.
Musa curls it away from the goaltender. Loose on top. Bicycle attempt, no. Continuing to get dangerous opportunities is St. Louis FC. Nice ball pulled down by Ramirez with Mendez. Venegas. They'll switch to the left and up the left flank.
And Minnesota kept that nicely coming out of their backfield. Went from the right back to the left back. They keep it in possession on the left side of the field.
Into the 41st minute. Direct on the ground.
Yeah, their holder, number 14, Jack Blake, does a lot of the work in the central part of the field, in and around that center circle, plays balls early. Good work there by Cochran to step up, cut the ball out, and play it early.
They did the same thing against St. Louis, and now a counterattack. Oh, angle cut off by Fink, still poked through, coming back to make the play. Dixon to clear it. And that was a quick counter in the midfield.
It was a dangerous ball on the ground behind Sam Fink, and he knew it was going to happen. Good defending again in the open field by Sam Fink. Sam Fink and A.J. Cochran, two solid center backs. Seldom, if ever, come off the field. They make good decisions. Their passes out of the backfield are solid. They support. And overall, they've been doing a wonderful job as that center back duo for the 2016 edition of St. Louis FC.
Send it all the way back to Njok. G&W Meat, Bavarian Style Sausage Company, celebrating over 50 years as a family-owned St. Louis tradition. You can't beat G&W Meat. In the middle, Camille Hardware. Now Moose is upended. They play on. He gave up the body there. Gets it to Herrera in a double team. Dumps it back for Bond. Swings it right. And at midfield, Sam Fink sends it right. He's got Dixon. Back to Cochran.
Let the center backs play. They're competent getting the ball out of the backfield.
With Parker Marr. Now Barklage. Poked away. St. Louis gets it. Barklage back for Cochran. Approaching the center line. AJ. Through the middle. Oh, and Musa got faked out by the official. Saw him in his peripheral vision and let it go.
AJ thought Musa was going to move for that ball, so he didn't play it to his feet. He played it into his path. Musa there doing a little bit of chasing. Thought it might have been a good time for others to join him, trying to get the ball out of the backfield in a tight situation, close to their penalty area.
Calvano drives one deep. They head it back to the control of Mark Pace. 43rd minute. Parker Marr on a tough run. He got stood up. They get it ahead. Banks. And there's a whistle. Dale Schilly did not like that call, or actually maybe he's using that as an opportunity to talk about a previous play.
Talk about a lot whenever the referee gets that, whenever he gets that close to your coaching box.
You have your long list already written down.
Very much so. And if it's not written down, it's certainly recorded.
Venegas. St. Louis switching positions quickly. Venegas through the middle. They look to hold it, can't. Herrera broke it up, couldn't control. Have an opening on the left side, quick shot, punched away, loose, and out of play. Oh. Pino had it for a moment, and Parker Marr came back to save the day. Wow.
Again, magnificent goalkeeping from Mark Pace. This is what he sees. He's on his toes. He's going to turn this away at the last moment with the outstretched right palm. Pena was there at that far post. Parker Mar likewise helping out defensively. But good job by the goalkeeper, Mark Pace.
Well, when he knocked it away, fortunately it took a high bounce, or there would have been no help. Just wouldn't have had time.
Yeah, there was an onrushing forward at that far post as well.
They tried one for Jameel Hardware to run on. He's hemmed out of there.
And just about dug that ball out by making number 31, Damian Lowe, play. Minimum of about 2 minutes.
Hey, make sure to tune in every Friday night to the Big 550 KTRS FC Soccer Weekly, 7 to 9. Stay up to date on all things soccer, KTRS FC Soccer Weekly, every Friday, 7 to 9. Jim Hewer and the gang will have halftime for you, and they're the guys that make that soccer show work.
Yeah, they keep up to date, not just on USL, but NASL, MLS, competitions around the world. United States opens Copa America this coming Friday night out in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium against Colombia. Then upcoming during the month of June, European Championship. They run from June 10th to June 12th. Championship of Europe in France. First major competition in France since the World Cup in 1998.
On that whistle, we're in the Lamar Hunt Open Cup, and if you like to follow it, this is the place. And at ussoccer.com. That is your source for full coverage of the 2016 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. You can also follow coverage of the tournament on Twitter at Open Cup.
Yeah, the competition was renamed to the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup due to his work and his dedication to soccer in the United States.
Call a foul on St. Louis. Crowd grousing. So is St. Louis FC. There's a yellow card.
Yellow card issued by Greg Dupka, the referee from Chicago, to A.J. Cochran. Into the second minute of stoppage time, elongating this first half ever so slightly.
Venegas is out there with Calvano as they discuss their strategy. Jameel Hardware offers his opinion. So it's Venegas.
This will be curled on into an on-rushing player simply for the redirection. Mark Pace knows exactly what's going to happen here. He'll be sent into the penalty area. Someone will try to redirect it.
Calvano, dummy, curls it away. Far post, loose bounce, and out of play. Calvano, the dummy, and then Venegas.
If that ball's driven instead of lofted, you're in trouble.
Right.
Christian Ramirez wanted to get on the end of that, but it wasn't driven to him. It was lofted too much. Way too much time for either the goalkeeper or their center backs to play. Here's the end result of the play. Attempting to get over the top of everyone. In particular, Sam Fink, the last defender back.
Mark Pace across midfield, and that will end the first half of play. Well, Bill McDermott, this first half of play, you know, we had talked quite a bit in the open about the experience of Minnesota, perhaps possibly being one of the big factors that St. Louis would have to match. But as you take a look at the chances St. Louis had, other than about a 6 or 7 minute segment early, St. Louis, I thought, controlled most of the pace.
With plays like this, Brandon Barklage digs this ball out, receives, turns, tries to curl it in over the top of the defense, looking for the always dangerous Irvin Herrera inside the penalty area where he is most comfortable. Another very nice play from St. Louis FC. Drew Connor comes out, shows. Here's the play. Who started the play? Number 2, Richard Dixon, runs onto it as deep as he is. He knocks it back dead deep. It bounces once, bounces oddly to Irvin Herrera, but as a typical goal scorer, he gets on the end of that. If it's on the ground, you're really in business. St. Louis FC continuing to press the attack. This time it's Irvin Herrera. That's right, he's your lone forward. This time almost at the left wing corner flag arc. Barklage enters the picture, but Herrera's going to send this over himself to the opposite post. Looking for a runner who was Drew Connor on that particular occasion. Now Musa strikes this from outside the penalty area, curls over the top of the defense, looking for A.J. Cochran, who's up from center back on flighted balls. Drew Connor attempts that leaping side volley. That goes wide, but nonetheless, St. Louis FC had continued to apply the pressure and had some legitimate opportunities on goal.
So having said that, coming into the game, knowing what you're up against, you've got to feel pretty good, I think, going into the locker room.
You're the home side. You haven't lost at home since last August. You're not allowing a team that supposedly is superior to you to dictate the pace of the game. You don't want any part of that. You do not want your home venue where you're out here chasing a team. So far, that's not happening.
That's Bill McDermott. I'm Bob Ramsey. Jim Ewer and the gang comes back. They have a very special guest from the front office. Patrick Berry, who runs the whole show here in St. Louis.
He runs the railroad.
There's no question about it. That and more coming up at the half on the Big 550 KTRS. We'll be right back.
Jeremy never told me how physically strenuous doing Dan's Dozens videos would be. I mean, hey, St. Louis FC fans, we're hanging out here in the home locker room at Worldwide Technology Soccer Park for this edition of Dan's Dozen. Today, we talked with the players about what they bought with their first professional contract. It ranged from cars and laptops to the basic necessities like food. Let's check out and dig in.
First pro soccer paycheck, I bought my sister a computer. Yeah, she was just about to enter college, so she needed a computer, so just gave it to her as a gift.
A new pair of shoes. I think I bought a new shoe.
With my first pro soccer paycheck. Another pair of cleats.
First thing I bought was my car. Yeah, I needed a car in El Salvador to get around training, so. I actually put the money towards my car. It's not a nice car, but that money went towards that, so.
I bought my mother a birthday gift.
I think I bought my mom a present. I bought her some shoes from Nike, I think, something like that.
I think food. A little bit better food, I think. Yeah, a little bit expensive food, I guess, yeah.
I'd say a good amount of groceries.
It wasn't a big paycheck, so maybe some Skittles or something. Yeah, candy bar.
It was such a massive paycheck that I probably went to the grocery store and got groceries. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, if you want me to be honest, I haven't gotten paid yet. One thing that I will, I'll probably make a nice trip to the grocery store and get some things that I need.
Welcome back to Worldwide Technology Soccer Park as we have the Lamar Hunt Open Cup action. Well, we're getting ready for the second half, Bill McDermott, and as we do, St. Louis has really stepped up against the so-called bigger brother from the NASL, and so we feel like they've had the most golden opportunities, controlled most of the pace of the game, which is what they need to do.
More people involved in the overall attacking, people running out of the backfield, strikers withdrawing, making it easier for people to play, finding the person who is open at that particular time, supporting each other either in a wide position or in the central part of the field. All what you do on a regular basis every day in training.
We'll show you what we mean right here.
There's no score at halftime, but it's not for a lack of effort on St. Louis FC's part. The early throw-in for Brandon Barklage, and Irvin Herrera off the one-bounce throw-in has, again, the audacity to even attempt that shot, shooting from well outside the penalty area. Now, James Musa, early in the first half, got at a tackle with Calvano. He was down for a while. Now, the end result of this particular play is that Drew Connor comes back, plays the ball on the ground, at the feet of Irvin Herrera, receives, turns, shoots. That play is always going to be on. Now, Minnesota does their attacking as well. They try to get the ball forward, but they're not going to get the ball forward this time. They're going to shoot from distance. Just goes wide of that near post, but good attacking nonetheless. Venegas, like the players from St. Louis FC and everybody else in this league, when you're a wide back, get out of the backfield, get balls over, just like this. Curls it over. Ramirez, Pino, a lot of people waiting for the ball to be played to them. Another good ball on the ground to the flank player. Try to get it inside to Pino. Turning it away was the goalkeeper, Mark Pace. This time a free kick. Clicked over the top of the defense. Sam Fink couldn't quite get to it. It goes high and eventually out of play.
And we're underway in the second half. Can St. Louis get more of the same and get a tally? We shall see. Minnesota drives one deep. Mark Pace is there. St. Louis unbeaten in their last 4 contests, including an Open Cup game.
Yeah, Bob, they haven't lost at home since August 8th of last year. 5-0-3 during that span.
Hardware with Connor. Now Dixon. Back to Drew Connor. Had Musa there. Had him posted up. They'll look for a quick counter, and on the wing, it's Ramirez back through the middle. Blake, they tried to just deflect it on, and it went wide. Too much pace, he couldn't control it, and went through his feet.
This time, Jack Blake with the ball on the ground at his feet, doing the running forward towards his own forwards.
Take a look at the numbers from the first half of play.
We get just underway here. The start of the second half. Minor advantage for the visitors in shots. Tied up with shots on goal. Minor advantage again for St. Louis FC with 2 corners, but they continue to do the attacking.
Nice play by Damian Lowe out of the back to break up St. Louis efforts.
A little more direct at time from Lowe. He chested the ball down, did his job defensively, tried to find the top front runner. Christian Ramirez by himself, isolated against that last defender.
Nice long run for Parker Marr. Can he get around the corner? He does. Curled back through the middle. Oh, it was loose. They missed a header attempt to knock it away. Actually, may have helped Minnesota that he didn't.
What a dangerous ball from Parker Marr up from that left back position.
What a run. One touch, Drew Connor. Chests it down. Hardware is there. Looks to make a move, sends it into the corner. Here comes Connor, back through the middle, knocked away on a tough play in the area. Pino then wants to clear. Fink tries to stand in the way, may have hit it with his forearm, and that'll break up that run by St. Louis. Take a look at this one.
Parker Marr getting up from that left back position. How many times do we talk about it, Bob? You have to have wide backs who are not only capable, but willing to get forward. You have to join the offense. Parker Marr, the mini little step over against his counterpart, the right back from the other team, Venegas. Gets us over the top of everyone, as it turns out. That's a beautiful ball curled into the penalty area, away from the goalkeeper. Good running on that left wing, that left back position by Parker Marr.
I think the best thing that happened to Minnesota on that play was that Damian Lewis missed it. he was trying to knock it away, and there were so many St. Louis players around, that could have become a real dangerous, confusing situation.
If he didn't clear it properly, St.
Yeah.
Louis might have been able to run onto a second ball there.
Davis will send it back to Lowe. Lowe looks to settle. Hassled there by Herrera. Broken up by Parker Marr. Wants Herrera. Lowe says not this time, and then ahead to Blake. Minnesota on the throw-in. With Pitchkolin.
Pitchkolin in that holding position, the team captain. Aaron Pitchkolin actually played in MLS, Bob, with FC Dallas from 2005 to 2009. He's an experienced player.
Good movement through St. Louis defensive zone, but too far ahead for Pino. And so St. Louis and Richard Dixon will throw it in.
Yeah, Pitchkolin, he's been so diversified in his work. He was in the USL Best 11 with the Rhinos in 2010, then likewise on the NASL Best 11 in 2013.
Uh-oh, a little mistake in front. Ramirez swings it left Pino, but St. Louis comes back and breaks it up. Back through the middle, looking for Hardware. What a play to bring that one out of the air under duress.
Amazing job by Jamil Harbor to keep that ball.
He tried
against
to
number 5, Thiago Calvano.
Oh, and they play on. Calvano just took him out. Here comes Davis. Davis sends it back for Lowe. Left to right. Now he's going to hold up at the center circle.
Good work by Davis here. It wasn't on to go forward. Play through your center backs.
Now Calvano back for Davis, but then his pocket was picked by Connor and taken down. Davis picks up the ball, takes it away, throws it at Drew Connor.
So Davis trying to come up from left back, plays the early ball, one touch, loses it, then fouls.
Now driven on, Barklage in the area, chests it, controls out, tried to send one through. Nice effort by Connor, but a little too lofted to be really dangerous.
Try to send it over to the opposite post, either for the run of Herrera or the flank player Jamil Hardware, who's continuing to do the running sideline to sideline.
Sam Fink breaks up. An offensive effort. Nice touch. Barklage sends it through. They wanted Herrera, but too far. Again in the air.
Yeah. If that ball's on the ground, it's early enough that Herrera is isolated one-on-one with that last defender.
Especially since Calvano had him played on the outside. He could have turned to the middle.
If he's that close to the penalty area at number 19, Herrera, and you can play a ball on the ground to him at his feet where he can receive and turn, take your chances.
Now one bounce through, tried to redirect it on. Nicely done by Ramirez, but not enough on it to be dangerous.
Number 21, Christian Ramirez. We talk about number 19, Irwin Herrera, but Ramirez, he's the lone forward up top for the visitors. Very active anywhere around that penalty area. Number 21, Christian Ramirez.
Pace sends it forward. Oh, when a man's down, I think we had a little head collision and they're going to go the other direction. Drew Connor says, I had that. That was mine. He's going to go check out the fallen player. Drew Connor. Connor claims innocence.
Drew
You
Connor
be the judge.
And number 2, Justin Davis, both going up for this aerial challenge. Seems to be legitimate, and it was. They just clashed heads. Both players going for the same ball on the aerial challenge.
If you had
inadvertent, if anything.
Yeah, I think so. If you were forced to pick one player at fault, Connor a little bit over the back, but I'm like you. I think they both went up and it was just going for a ball in the air and they collided.
Justin seems to be okay. Number 2, Justin Davis. 28 years of age. We talked about the fact that he's the longest tenured player for Minnesota United FC.
And on moments like that, it feels like a long time.
It does. A real long time. He has to wait to be waved on by the referee, Greg Dopka. He recognizes him, then he'll wave him on.
Calvano. Sliding through, Connor couldn't control. Clip from behind. Crowd is incensed.
Yeah, well, that was a foul, however, that time by Jameel Hardware as he pushed Pitch Colin at the very end there.
I think the crowd's frustrated. They want to go
Yeah,
all.
exactly. Here's the end result of the play. You don't have to be a referee to make this call. Number 7, Jameel Hardware.
A little bit of a whack.
A little bit, ever so slightly from number 7, Jameel Hardware.
They come over the top, over the back. Barklage is there. He has Dixon running on. And cutting him out of there was Davis. Ooh, tug of the shirt.
Richard Dixon continuing to do the running from his right back position. Marathon distances at a sprinter's pace. The number 2s battle each other. Pulling the shirt of number 2, Justin Davis, was the other number 2, Richard Dixon.
This crowd is
fans didn't like it, but it was indeed the right call.
This crowd is getting ugly. Somebody get a goal. Keep them calm. It's either that or water cannons.
Or please don't call any more fouls. There could be an invasion, a pitch invasion.
Cleared out of play. Unforced error by Cochran.
Yeah, Cochran at that particular time thought that Herrera, who does the running from sideline to sideline, was going to make himself available on that left flank. St. Louis FC goes to Colorado this weekend. The team that's right in front of them, it's Vancouver, the Galaxy, and the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. 1, 2, and 3. St. Louis and Rio Grande tied for 4th in the Western Conference.
So far, those are the 5 teams that are beginning to separate themselves from the rest of the conference.
It seems like a Bob, and in particular Vancouver, that so far the only undefeated team in 2016.
Nice move, Banks. Tried to send one through, had a great idea, but the defense was up to the task. Parker Marr, bodies fly, crowd screaming. Here comes St. Louis. On the approach, on a long run, dead stop. Barklage waits, tried a shot blocked. Musa lets it roll back, Bond. Now he's got Dixon. Dixon approaches the area, picked cleanly. Nice defensive play by Pitch Colin. And now a whistle against Chad Bond and this crowd.
Now the referee has to go over and give a yellow card. And he does. Waited for the play to develop. In the 57th minute, Chan Bond involved in the tackle at midfield against number 29, J.C. Banks. Whistled up for that foul. Well, Damian Lowe picks up the yellow for the tackle against Jameel Hardware. Referee Greg Dopka allowed the play to continue. Advantage in favor of the attacking team.
I think I saw the crowd, some of the members of the crowd send a couple of folks out for...
Get a little close to the field.
Send some folks out for cabbage and tomatoes. And I don't think they're going to make a salad, because that one goes off of Dixon over the end line, and a corner kick now set up for Minnesota.
Good defending again by Richard Dixon. Not allowing Minnesota to get that ball over into the penalty area.
Hey, Walter No Florist, your personal florist since 1983, family owned and operated. Order online today, WKF.com.
Careful on these set pieces, always an excellent way to take the lead or get back into a
Scrum
game.
up top, loose, as they banged into Mark Pace. That one was very dangerous. Now a little hold in the back. Hardware and Dixon back there, and off of the offensive player, and St. Louis will get it back. That was interesting. They sent their scrum up near the top of the penalty area, and then they all spun and attacked.
Some players will spin off, run to the opposite post, others run to the near. Some people hold at the tip of the penalty area arc.
This game's starting to pick up its physicality, if you will. Sent ahead for Herrera. He bonked it off of
Justin Davis is taking
face.
a beating here in the second half so far.
He may not have a concussion, but I promise he's got a headache. And now, as a United player goes down, the crowd unhappy again.
Foul whistle up against James Musa there. Musa doing the tackling against Mendez. Ruled to have fouled is number 14, James Musa, as Mendez was protecting the ball.
Here comes United again, a left-footed shot, deflected away, and Mark Pace runs over and grabs the ball. Nice
Good
job.
sure hand, yes. Good sure hands again from number 1, Mark Pace. All 6 feet 4 inches. He trained with the Fire in early 2015, the Chicago Fire, the MLS affiliate of St. Louis FC.
Connor sends it ahead. He wanted Hardware,
Yeah.
but I think Hardware thought that Connor was going to run on behind.
Jamil showed he came forward to meet Bond. Chad thought that the runner was going behind him, peeling off his shoulder. It'd be a miscommunication. Nonetheless, it's a
By
good
the
ball
way-
on the ground from Chad Bond.
By the way, what Hardware thought would have been a nice play.
Very much so. He got away from the defender, cleared the lane. The runner was behind him in open space.
Enjok through the middle of the field. High bouncing ball. Another player goes down hard for Minnesota. He stayed down, and he is not moving. And they're going to blow a whistle and take a look. That is uglier than I thought when I first saw it.
The athletic trainer comes out to a 10-2. That last player in the 60th minute. That battle between Cochran, the center back for St. Louis United FC. Still no score in this one, in this 2016 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup game.
Bill, I did not get a number.
Likewise, Bob. It's partially obscured, as a matter of fact, totally obscured by everyone. That's J.C. Banks.
Banks went down. And as you're following the ball through play, it seemed more innocent than obviously it's turned out to be.
So the collision between Cochran and Banks. Banks, we talked about him earlier in the first half. Just joined this club in 2015 from the Rochester Rhinos. He had 11 goals for the Rhinos in 2014. A very pacey, very fast player.
He's set up now. As you see the nice crowd on hand.
Here at Denny Long Field, Marshall Wireless Stadium, Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. Turned out to be a beautiful evening here, Bob.
It's humid, but it's pleasantly cool.
Yeah.
Lovely sunset.
On the 1st of June, again, we repeat that the winner of this particular game would host MLS Intrigue Sporting KC on Wednesday, June 15th. This looks to be the Brazilian midfielder, Ibsen, getting ready to perhaps come on. If J.C. Banks cannot continue in this one. Ibsen, yet again, another very talented Brazilian. Just last year in the NASL Best 11. So J.C. Banks there being attended off by the athletic trainer. And here's what precipitated the aftermath, the battle between A.J. Cochran and J.C. Banks. And J.C. Banks comes down tremendously awkwardly, head first, head literally over heels in that battle with A.J. Cochran.
Yeah.
Seems to be okay, but that's strictly from a distant vantage point. And the aforementioned number 7, Ibsen, comes on.
Boy.
He's one of their talented players, veterans. He played with Porto, Spartak Moscow, Corinthians, Flamenco.
A St. Louis-based Worldwide Technology, recognized by Fortune magazine as one of the 100 best places to work 5 years in a row. And you know it, of course, from the name of our facility, Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. as we're going again in the 63rd minute. Minnesota's made a couple of nice runs here in the second half. There's a quick shot. Oh, Mark Pace, a diving play. That was a lightning quick shot.
And that's from Ibsen, I believe, his very first touch on the volley.
Was a laser.
Almost gets it in behind Mark Pace, but good goalkeeping. He was very alert to it. The ball bouncing around. Drew Connor attempts to make the clearance, tries to knock it backwards. It ends up bouncing to Ramirez. And sure enough, there is number 7, Ibsen, on that first-time volley, forcing Mark Pace to play.
That was headed for the back of the net. Now this one lofted out of play, an error and that will benefit St. Louis. Still no score here in St. Louis at the Lamar Hunt Open Cup. Mark Pace made a nice play. Yeah, reacting. That was going to the back of the net. That was a great reaction.
Mark Pace very alert to it. Ramirez on the bouncing ball. Excuse me, that was not Ibsen. That was Daniel Mendez. Excuse me.
Goes out of play. They'll get the throw in. Davis quickly for Blake. Losing his footing was Pitch Colin, but he gets it back. And now Njok drives it again. Dixon knocks it away. Headed forward, nicely done. But St. Louis can't control. Back through the middle. Ibsen drops it back, a long shot, skips through, it's set, it's point blank range and Pace somehow comes off his line, dives and takes it away from Mendez. What a play by Mark Pace.
Good alert goalkeeping, again by Mark Pace. The ball falls into the penalty area, almost directly to the feet of Pino. Venegas curls it into the penalty area. It bounces. How many times have we talked about it, Bob? If the ball bounces in the penalty area, Pino let it run for Mendez. Almost got in the end of that, did number 18, Daniel Mendez.
I don't know how he didn't get there other than the fact that Mark Pace was magnificent and unbelievably quick. Crowd feels like they're not getting any of the calls.
Herrera at least thought to have fouled Davis on this particular play. Both players running for the ball. Clearly not a foul situation, irrespective of what the assistant referee has said. Both players legitimate shoulder to shoulder, charging to try to win the ball.
Njok trying to have something to say with his distributions, driving it deep into the St. Louis end. Header, nicely done, good control. Venegas. He wants to turn, Barklage turns him out. Can't control the ball. Oh, and he draws the foul. What work by Barklage.
Barklage again putting his body between that player, Venegas, and the ball. Wins the foul in the process.
Through the middle. Did he let it run too far? Yep, just by a step. Hardware wanted the ball back. The officials say no.
Good tackling by number 5, Thiago Calvano.
That one, they gave it a go. Oh, nice play. That came across the area, looked somewhat harmless, but that was Ramirez running on. That was dangerous. Now back in the midfield, and Minnesota's starting to take over.
Pitch Colin and Blake inside that center circle, working it nicely, finding the open people, and finding people quickly. Ibsen just entered the game. Don't forget, he's fresh. Came out for J.C. Banks.
Moving forward a little more consistently here in the second half. Ahead for Pino. Tried to get one to run onto Ramirez. Broken up. There was a hold, but they play on as Fink came all the way back. Or Cochran, excuse me.
Good defending by A.J. Cochran. They're not allowing Pino to get on the end of that pass.
Ibsen took it away, though. Gets it for Pitch Colin. They'll send it right now. Driving one through the area again, and again, Cochran is there.
Venegas playing in an advanced position at right back for visiting Minnesota. Gets a lot of balls into the penalty area, creates dangerous scenarios.
Hardware back with Mar. They cut off his advance, so he has to drive it forward, hoping for Herrera. Takes a Minnesota bounce. And now Davis will bring it out. Davis tried for Pino. Then St. Louis hems them in a little of their own medicine. They get it to the keeper, Njok, but he gives it away. Musa couldn't control, gets it back in the midfield. Again with Parker Marr, that was tipped away. Here comes a counterattack. They've got a man on the run, in on goal, a shot, a bouncing ball. They score! Marr gave it away. It was very innocent. Parker tried to chip it over the offensive player, and it turned into a goal in the back of the net. Venegas.
In the 70th minute, Parker Marr tries to get forward to get it out to Herrera. The ball's clipped away from him, and as quickly as it falls to the feet of Ramirez, he plays it in over the top to the runner. We just referenced that number 22, Venegas, loves to get forward, either on crosses or on shots just like that. Good alert offense by the visitors.
And Venegas, along with the run, which was brilliant, obviously, to make himself available, he stayed very calm. He didn't try and put it through the back of the net. He just knew he needed to beat Mark Pace.
He just passed it into the back of the net. Good running out of the backfield by Venegas, and nice work by Christian Ramirez to find him immediately in the midfield.
Now they have Herrera running on. Oh, what a play by Njok to come out and rob Herrera of a golden opportunity.
Njok was not going to let that ball bounce twice. He was going to either catch it or punch it clear.
Now a run, a slide tackle. Good forcing the issue by Connor.
Yeah, Drew Connor, good work to make Calvado play. Keep the ball at least on the throw.
St. Louis wants the equalizer now. Take another look at the goal from a moment ago. Oh, this is the Njok save.
Njok, the Cameroonian goalkeeper, jumps out, dives at the feet of Irvin Herrera.
They cleared all the way back to Pace, and so he says, let's go again, boys. Fink with Cochran.
Build again from the back. Let the center backs join the play.
Cochran saw Connor. Connor side of the area. Will it be a give and go? No, a keep by Hardware. Curls one through the middle. Oh, he was looking for Musa running on just a little bit in front of him.
Good work by St. Louis FC to try to curl that in behind the defense. Looking for Brandon Barkley to come in off that left flank.
Now Ramirez held off Cochran. He was able to keep the possession. That's not easy to do against AJ. Pino back with Davis. Fink sends it back forward, but they're going to let it go out of play.
Fink and Cochran do not, on a normal basis, Bob, do not allow those forwards to turn. They cut balls out early and try to play them to the offense as equally as early.
Pino wants to turn, and there was an example as Fink took him out, but the official says not fairly. Gorgeous night in St. Louis. The thunderstorms rolled through, and pleasantly cool evening.
The complementary colors blending nicely in the background. The blues, the oranges, cerulean blue. Very similar to a Salvador Dali, I think.
Cerulean blue, I believe,
blue
was a back for Cameroon in 57.
In 57, they didn't have a World Cup in 57.
That's why you've never heard of him. Cerulean blue. One nothing, Minnesota. 73rd minute. Trying to make sure who the culprits are on the screen. Sent through. Hardware in the corner. Jamil. St. Louis desperate to get the equalizer. Dixon.
Yeah, they've done it in their last 2 home appearances here, Bob.
Nice play. Connor gets it back. After the nutmeg, curls it through. He's got Herrera. Oh, he couldn't make the turn. Nice defense by Damian Lowe.
Yeah, Damian Lowe realized the danger there.
But the giveaway. Hardware couldn't beat the double team. Man goes down, grabbed it with his hand. St. Louis will get it. They do have it. Hardware. Up top, Herrera took a shot to the chops. Boy, some opportunities, but St. Louis couldn't make the turn. Now a bit of an unforced error. I say unforced, but Davis saw Herrera looming to take the ball away.
Jameel Hardware trying to knock that ball square. Cut out very nicely and alertly. Minnesota continuing to do the defending. That's number 14, Blake. Changes for St. Louis FC. Drew Connor and Brandon Barklage will exit the game. Number 23, Jordan Roberts comes on. And number 32, Shiloh Chuma.
In the 74th minute. Make your healthy drink substitution.
Excuse me, Bob. I mentioned Brandon Barklage came off. He did not. It was Jameel Hardware. So Hardware and Connor exit. Chuma and Jordan Roberts come on.
Take another look at this last bit of action with the subs coming in. St. Louis trying to get their fresh legs in.
Chad Bond doing the battling, doing the tackling. Whistled up for the foul by the referee, Greg Dopka, who evidently thinks there has to be a quota on fouls.
I think he's met it. In deep, they had Ramirez. St. Louis is able to break it up in a foul. As if they're trying to even it up. 1-0, Minnesota on top. 76th minute.
So St. Louis FC will attempt to use the speed of number 32, Shiloh Chuma, out on that right flank. And the ability lately of Jordan Roberts to run at defenders and take shots from anywhere close to the penalty area.
Boy, nice ball in the air by Fink, and he is not happy with one of his teammates. As he made a tremendously athletic play to get that ball forward, and it was sent right back in. Now it'll be Dixon to throw it in. Quick side volley, plucking it out of the air for Barklage, sends it on, looking for Chuma. Chilo is cut off and cut out, and they clear the ball. Again, it's Bond. Dixon pokes it ahead. Dixon has Herrera. Herrera beats one man, curls one. Oh, a nice ball. Curled through, looking for Chuma. Out of play. St. Louis with a great opportunity now. Bill McDermott.
Dangerous ball again from Irvin Herrera, who comes outside the penalty area, makes himself available. Picks on one defender, pushes it to a comfortable left-footed shot. Cross, I should say. Just headed clear by Damian Lowe.
Now to be Bond out of the right corner. Chad looks. Herrera's in deep. They send it. Top of the area. Header. It's down. It's loose. Hit the crossbar on the bounce. Oh, St. Louis robbed off the beautiful header. The bouncing ball by design. It hits the crossbar, and instead of going in, comes out.
Oh, what an excellent opportunity for an equalizer for St. Louis FC. Here's the end result of the corner. Cochran rises to meet it. The little flick by Herrera hits the underside of the crossbar. Good work by Cochran, holding his head. He knew it was on there. He leapt, beat everyone.
Two headers, both by design, getting the job done, except inches from going in. Herrera has been under the bar and over the bar. Oh, what a pass. Clipped and stayed in. Barklage sends one through, wants a man. Oh, their defense got back nicely.
Yeah, dangerous ball curled into the penalty area.
Now Musa.
Making Calvano and Lowe make a decision, Bob, in that backfield.
Musa to throw it in. He's got Cochran at the top of the area. Barklage near. Looks for Chuma. Header. Knocked away. St. Louis will get the corner.
Trying to make yet another change. Here's St. Louis FC.
Ooh.
Defender coming off will be number 2, Richard Dixon. Oncoming is number 20, Vince Cicerelli. You don't have to be Sir Alex Ferguson to figure this out.
He's offensive-minded.
Exactly right.
He has a nose for the goal.
Get him into the game, get him into the penalty area. Somehow, maybe some way, he can run onto it.
Bond. Waiting for everybody to get set. Jostling and jockeying for position in front of the keeper.
Roberts, the late addition. This is exactly what Njok is seeing. There's Roberts. Venegas, the goal scorer, standing right in front of him. Rich Colin looking after Musa.
Bond, a drive, a header attempt. It's loose, it's down. A shot, no. Was there going to be a foul? No. They play on.
Ball got across the face of the penalty area somehow, Bob.
Njok was able to, as it squirted through, Njok was able to dive on it. Wow.
The Cameroonian goalkeeper calm and composed in his positioning in the goal mouth for Minnesota United FC.
Fink, Chuma. Battling in the middle. Knocked away Barklage, but Musa is there. Musa's pass a little soft. Roberts couldn't get to it. Now a run. Oh, a big slide tackle there.
Good tackle against Venegas by Parker Mark, because you know Venegas is going to do the running. You've seen it all night long coming out of the backfield.
81st minute.
Or looking after Mendez, who late in this second half has been troublesome as well.
Plenty of time for St. Louis, but they've added an offensive player.
Yeah, Vince Cicerelli comes on for Richard Dixon. It was Vince Cicerelli who got 2 goals in St. Louis FC's first win of the year over Orange County back on April 2nd. Musa had the first, Vince Cicerelli had 2.
They want to go to the left side, and they've got Pino there. He chests it down, quick shot, well-sighted though, and a nice play. Nice play by Mark Pace.
Making sure, covering up, a ball struck by Pino, bouncing inside the penalty area. Can be difficult. Calm, composed on the ball, brings it down at his chest, to his left foot, from outside or just about outside the penalty area. Made the goalkeeper play.
St. Louis gets a good bounce in midfield. Chilo Chuma had Herrera on a run, but it was broken up.
That was the idea, to get the ball early behind that last defender.
Fink made a good defensive play and then gets the ball back, and here he goes. Sam Fink up the right side. Fink on the approach. Fink to the area. Tried to slide one through. He was looking for Cicerelli, and it was knocked away.
Cicerelli took one step toward him, looking for that 1-2. Good work coming up out of the backfield by number 3, the center back Sam Fink.
Musa on the throw-in. Fink says, I want it. Musa says, nope, I'm going to make it dangerous. Header attempt at Barklage, or excuse me, that was Cicerelli. And
again,
they say it went off the defender.
Again, just by Vince Cicerelli's presence, he made that last defender play to make the play to win the corner kick.
Now Bond out of the right corner. Bond drives one at the net again. Up in the air, oh, and a dangerous bounce, but Njok was able to make the power dribble.
Njok holds on and bounces the ball to himself in the penalty area. Whoa.
I like Chad Bond out of those 2 corner kicks, going really just direct right at it.
Great flighter of the dead ball is number 8, Chad Bond, the team captain.
Mar up the left side. Parker sends it through, one touch, but no one was there. O'Connor tried to get it through. Cochran now back for Musa. 84th minute. Slide tackle slows down St. Louis.
Be calm, get the ball forward, perhaps get it to the feet of one of your forwards who can dribble, win a free kick.
They're looking for Roberts, couldn't get it there. Come back through the middle for Musa. Musa rolls it right. He's got Chilo Chuma. Chuma, split the double team. He beats him, moves in, left-footed shot through the goal mouth and out. 3 different forwards, had they taken one more step, could have made a play.
Chilo Chuma, new player on this team, looks up. This is why he's brought into the game. Runs at defenders, beats Ibsen, whistles this across the goal mouth and just past that opposite post. Woo. Good effort from Chilo Chuma.
Beat 2 defenders, stood up a third and just missed. This is what Njok saw or didn't see.
The goal cam will show you exactly what transpired there. Just past Damian Lowe. That ball from Chilo Chuma had the goalkeeper beaten.
Knocked down by Herrera. Swing it left, Roberts. On the approach to the penalty area. Gives it up. And broken up nicely by Minnesota. Pino. Couldn't control. Chuma will let it go out of play, and St. Louis gets it right back.
As we get into the 85th minute. Danny Cruz is going to come on for the visitors, Minnesota United. Another player with MLS experience is number 8, Danny Cruz.
Substitution for Minnesota United. Leaving the game, number 11, Stefano Pino.
Replaces Pino. Pino's played very well
Yes,
tonight.
he has. He's been actively involved in all the offensive movements for Minnesota United.
St. Louis knows they've got to move forward, looking for the equalizer. Take some chances. Look at that run. Back through the middle. Herrera's there at the arc. Tried to get it to one of his players on the wing. Could not.
Good running by Jordan Roberts coming in off that left flank.
Now they go again.
Whenever he
Too
comes
far.
into the game, Bob, number 23, Jordan Roberts, that's exactly what he's been doing. Coming in off that left and our right flank on the dribble.
Nice play on the throw-in, give and go. They have a man. Out loose, but Sam Fink says nope. Keep calm. I've got it.
Sam Fink, again, that last defender back.
Roberts again. Great speed, gives it up to Parker Marr. Knocked away though, lost it out of play. They tune in every Friday night to the Big 550 KTRS FC Soccer Weekly 7 to 9. They'll keep you up to date on all things soccer. KTRS FC Soccer Weekly, Fridays, 7 to 9.
Big announcement in St. Louis today, Bob, that on August 1st, Monday night, August 1st, at Busch Stadium, Liverpool will play AS Roma.
They'll pack Busch Stadium.
Yep.
Absolutely packed. At the news conference, did you gentlemen discuss what the seating capacity you would expect to have?
Well, the very first international was 48-263 when Manchester City played Chelsea.
And now in the area shot, they score!
Herrera whistle up offside there.
Whistle. Seemingly harmless play, very exciting, but offside.
Herrera in behind that last defender. And there you could see
Yep, he
Herrera
was.
standing in an offside position. Received, turn, shot. But he was indeed offside when the ball was flighted.
Back through the middle. 88th minute. Uh-oh. Here they come again. On the run, in on goal. Dished up front, a shot blocked off a defense. I am absolutely surprised the shot wasn't taken by Cruz.
Danny Cruz, the man with the fresh legs, just came on for Minnesota United.
Great run.
He's doing the running in off that left flank.
Yeah, he had men there.
Lays
Yeah,
it off with the outside of his right, looking for Ibsen. Ibsen shot deflected. It'll be a corner.
yeah. Pace was ready for him. Right. So that was the play. Parker Marr got back though. Now they're going to line up out high. Look for Lowe to go in. Flighted ball went away from where all the teammates were running. Not a very good play. They had everybody turning and going to the net, and the ball came out behind them to the top of the area. 89th minute. Back through the middle. Roberts wants to run it down. It'll be a foul on St. Louis. That's going to be on Chad Bond.
Foul whistled up on Chad Bond. Inside the center circle. Getting into the 90th minute now. Still something to perhaps pull from this game. Can they get something at the absolute death? St. Louis FC.
Back out for Lowe. Broken up by Chuma. Good play to keep it away from him and keep the possession. Sent in for their target Ramirez, but knocked away. Fink and Cochran, nice job. We'll have 4 minutes of stoppage, and so here we go.
4 minutes, that's an eternity late in a game. To still send balls into the penalty area. Try to win a free kick, perhaps, anywhere close around the penalty area arc.
Fink up.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Bill. Fink up the side. Musa. Little give and go with Bond. Musa inside the center circle. Reset it. Barklage was waving for the ball over in the right corner. Back to Sam Fink. Sam drives one deep, looks for an opening. He wanted to go to Cicerelli. He's looked at him a couple of times, but Cicerelli was held up right near the arc.
Trying to get that ball into the penalty area anyhow, any way, so that maybe a forward can get on the end of it. Either flick it on, redirect it, direct shot on goal, or try to find a forward on rushing.
Boy, Cruz's fresh legs have made a difference. Cochran breaks that up. Taken away. Chuma goes ahead for Barklage. Little soft touch, but they can't keep it in bound. Didn't get quite enough of the ball.
We're going to try to flick it on to the run of number 20, Vince Cicerelli. Almost salvaged it.
St. Louis gets it right back. Musa drives, wants it for Cicerelli. Will that be too far? It checks up for him. Saves it in the corner. And off of Cicerelli.
Good attempt by Cicerelli to try to play it off that last defender, Justin Davis. Almost pulled that off.
Up the side. There'll be a foul. Oh, no! That's got to be St. Louis's ball, but they're going to call Fink. He screams at the official. My.
Fink battling number 21, Christian Ramirez. Fink whistled up for the foul against number 21, Christian Ramirez.
Oh, big battle there in the middle. Ibsen thought he had it for a moment, cleared out, they move it ahead. Cicerelli tried to beat with a little back heel move. Now the other way, Cruz. He is fast. Cruz sends it through the middle, has a man, a shot, they score! What a play by Cruz. He has been the difference maker in the last 10 minutes.
Well, this is what happens when you bring on a fresh player late in the game, and that's exactly why number 8, Danny Cruz, is brought into the game.
What speed, Bill.
Yeah, number 14 with the finishing. Jack Blake.
Blake gets the goal, but
good work by him. He's been very active in and around the center circle. He's one of the holding midfielders, and he's allowed to get forward simply because everyone in St. Louis FC is pulled forward. If they're not pulled forward, they're fatigued by trying to get back into this game. But it's struck nicely by Blake, and that certainly puts the result beyond a doubt as number 14, Jack Blake, perhaps gets all the insurance that the visiting Blues, Minnesota United FC needs.
What speed by Cruz.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Not only the speed, but then puts it right at the feet of the oncoming teammate, Blake.
His intent was quite simple. Get the ball on a flank, dribble at defenders, get the ball over. That's exactly what he did. Second half change, that's exactly what you're supposed to do, and he did just that. Number 8, Danny Cruz.
St. Louis has had some golden opportunities when they made their substitutions, but couldn't quite click in the area. They'll send it forward. Irvin Herrera, he's missed 2 opportunities. There's a shot, high, wide, and handsome. First half, a volley just inches over the crossbar, and then a header that hit the bottom of the crossbar, but out. And that's the match. And the Lamar Hunt Open Cup competition ends for St. Louis tonight, and Minnesota moves on with a 2-goal second half.
And on Wednesday, June 15th, they'll be the host as Sporting Kansas City, the MLS team, goes to Minnesota to play. But the 2-0 end result obviously didn't figure it out that way exactly. The late goal, very late goal by the onrushing midfielder, Jack Blake. It was 2-0 in the final. Let's see how it took place. This was the first goal as Parker Marr tried to get out of his own backfield. The early return ball from Christian Ramirez, a beautiful ball played to number 22, Kevin Venegas, over the top of everyone, gets it beyond the onrushing goalkeeper Mark Pace. That was 1-0. Now here's Danny Cruz, a second half change for the visitors. Goes at the last 2 defenders, knocks it across the goal mouth on an angle. You know someone's going to be there. And sure enough, it was number 14, Jack Blake from Nottingham, England, to put the result beyond doubt. 2-0 to final for the visiting Minnesota United FC squad.
All due respect, or all respect earned by Minnesota. Tentative first half, hung around. Neither team could get it going. St. Louis, in my view, carried the play most of the first half. Second half, obviously Minnesota was told, let's get forward, let's possess the ball, and they really controlled the pace throughout the second half. Now, St. Louis did have some great opportunities, but couldn't connect, and United made them pay.
Throughout the entire game, St. Louis FC was trying to get players in and around the penalty area, isolated, get some decent opportunities on goal, which they did have. Sami Anjak, number 33, the goalkeeper, the Cameroonian goalkeeper from Minnesota, safe and solid late in the game, as he had to be. Clipped a lot of balls out, punch ball is clear, did his job to protect the league. Minnesota with a decided edge at the conclusion of the match with shots and shots on goal, as a matter of fact. So this very, very difficult stretch for St. Louis FC ends with games on Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, now a travel day on Friday to go play Colorado. So you get back into the league race now and try to stay atop, or at least close to the top of that difficult Western Conference.
Saturday will end that run, but with travel to Colorado, it won't be easy, but this has been over a year plus, season and a half almost. This has been a great road team. They've got to continue that to realize that you're at the end of this difficult run schedule-wise, but you can't let up. In fact, you've got to get more intense on the road. Those are points to be had.
Exactly right, Bob. You go on the road now, you try to get those points. You certainly want 1. You got to try to get 3, because in the last 2 home games prior to this match, perhaps they could have had those 3 points against visiting teams. Weren't able to quite get through it. But as Dale Shilley tells me on a regular basis, we're playing through things now. The soccer is much better. Tonight there was a little lapse in play simply because the offense wasn't able to click like it has been. Now, Minnesota, true to their farm, as you pointed out, at the outset of the second half, almost from the opening center off, it seemed that they were of the opinion, we're going to get the ball, keep it down much better than we did in the first half, and get forward, and that's exactly what they did.
We hope to see a big crowd on the 11th. That's when St. Louis comes back home to Worldwide Technology Soccer Park. And the weather it's great summertime action, and any kind of fun you like here at Soccer Park, adults, kids, families, groups with the St. Louligans. It's going to be a big night. Let's fill up Soccer Park as Tulsa comes back in, and that'll be a big night on the 11th, and time to get things back on the winning track.
Yeah, a team in your own conference, Bob, the Tulsa Roughnecks, and then later in the month against Portland, a team that's very close to St. Louis and Rio Grande. Portland, you got another affiliate with the Portland Timbers in MLS. So as we see Dale Shilley exiting the venue, still has a smile on his face and realizes that perhaps we could have got a little more out of this game. Let's just get back to work and get after it, try to get 3 points in the road against Colorado this weekend.
Don't forget, more soccer coming up on the radio side. The Big 550 KTRS, Jim Hewer and the boys will handle all of that, and we'll have the action, of course, for you again on the 11th of June against Tulsa. For Bill McDermott, I'm Bob Ramsey. Good night for Worldwide Technology Soccer Park.